Hello, all you film freaks and movie maniacs out there. My name is Nolan Carr, and I'd like to welcome you to the go-to podcast for all things cinema. But before you can ask any questions, just sit back, relax, as I present to you a Strawlane Studio Productions Critiquing with Carr. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another great edition of the show here in Critiquing with Carr for Favorite Film Friday. As always, if you've enjoyed these reviews up until now, do us a favor by subscribing on YouTube, following us on the audio platforms, clicking a thumbs up or like button so you can tell us you enjoy these episodes, turning on post notifications on those platforms so you can stay up to date when episodes release, as well as clicking and share out so you can continue to grow the podcast with all your friends and family. Also, if you want other ways of staying up to date with the show, do us a favor by following us on Instagram at Critique with Carr. I say all that because on this week's special edition of Favorite Film Friday, we're talking about the classic Charlie Chaplin film, City Lights. And with that being said, let's begin. This movie was directed, written, produced, and co-edited by Charlie Chaplin. The cast for this movie is as follows: Charlie Chaplin, Virginia Cherrill, Florence Lee, Harry Myers, and Al Ernest Garcia. The cinematographers for this film were Roland Tothero and Gordon Pollock. The movie was also co-edited by Willard Nico. The musical score was done by Charlie Chaplin. The Flower Girls theme was done by Jose Padilla, and the movie was orchestrated by Arthur Johnston and Alfred Newman. The film was distributed by United Artists. The movie was released on January 30th of 1931 in Los Angeles and on March 7th of 1931 in the United States nationally. The runtime for this movie was 87 minutes. The budget for this movie was $1.5 million US dollars, and the worldwide gross of this movie was $4.25 million US dollars in worldwide rentals. The accolades for this movie are as follows. At the National Board of Review Awards, it won the National Board of Review Award as one of 1931's top 10 films of that year. And now it comes time for my two favorite parts, which is I list off the top 10 highest grossing films for that year's release, being 1931's City Lights. Coming in at number 10 on this list was A Connecticut Yankee. It was distributed by Fox Film Corporation. Its worldwide gross was $1.2 million. It stars Will Rogers, William Farnham, and Maureen O'Sullivan. Coming in at number 9 was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It was distributed by Paramount Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $1.25 million. And it stars Friedrich March, Miriam Hopkins, and Rose Hobart. Coming in at number 8 was Aerosmith. It was distributed by United Artists. Its worldwide gross was $1.25 million. It stars Ronald Colman, Helen Hayes, and Richard Bennett. Coming in at number 7 was Merely Mary Ann. It was distributed by Fox Film Corporation. Its worldwide gross was $1.3 million. And it stars Janet Gaynor, Charles Farrell, and Beryl Mercer. Coming in at number 6 on this list was Cimarron. It was distributed by RKO Radio Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $1.38 million. And it stars Richard Dix and Irene Dunn. Coming in at number 5 on this list was The Man Who Came Back. It was distributed by Fox Film Corporation. Its worldwide gross was $1.4 million, and stars Janet Gaynor and Charles Farrell. Coming in at number 4 on this list was Palmy Days. It was distributed by United Artists. Its worldwide gross was $1.6 million, and it stars Eddie Cantor, Charlotte Greenwood, and George Rack. Coming in at number 3 on this list was Helldivers. It was distributed by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Its worldwide gross was $2.16 million, and it stars Wallace Berry and Clark Gable. Coming in at number 2 on this list was Trader Horn. It was distributed by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Its worldwide gross was $4.2 million. And it stars Harry Carey, Edwina Booth, and Duncan Ronaldo. And finally, coming in at number 1 as the highest grossing film for 1931 was City Lights. It was distributed by United Artists. Its worldwide gross was $4.25 million. And it stars Charlie Chaplin, Virginia Cherrill, and Florence Lee. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, my review of 1931's City Lights. Charlie Chaplin's City Lights, released in 1931, stands as a testament to Chaplin's genius in silent film comedy. In an era when talkies were gaining popularity, Chaplin chose to stick with silent film for this classic, blending humor with heartfelt moments. City Lights showcases Chaplin's unparalleled talent in physical comedy and his ability to evoke genuine emotion without the use of dialogue. One of the most touching aspects of City Lights is the sequence involving the blind flower seller. Chaplin's character, the tramp, goes out of his way to help her, demonstrating his inherent kindness. These scenes are beautifully executed with Chaplin's subtle gestures and expressions conveying a deep sense of empathy and generosity. Around the 15-minute mark, the film introduces a hilariously absurd sequence involving a man attempting to commit suicide with a cement anvil. Chaplin's interaction with this character showcases his remarkable skills as a physical comedian. The scenes involving Chaplin's drunken escapades at a mansion and a fancy restaurant are both entertaining and well executed. Chaplin's ability to use physical comedy to navigate these situations adds humor and charm to the film. His portrayal of a drunken man in these settings is both comedic and endearing, showcasing his versatility as an actor. While Chaplin's comedy often leads towards the silly, his performance in City Lights is more restrained compared to his work in modern times. This approach allows for a more nuanced portrayal of his character, balancing humor with genuine emotion. Although not all of Chaplin's comedic moments resonate, his ability to maintain a straight-faced role adds depth to the film. The portrayal of the blind flower seller, though integral to the story, lacks emotional depth. The actress's performance felt somewhat flat, failing to fully convey the struggles and nuances of blindness. While a role is essential to the narrative, the portrayal did not evoke the emotional response I was hoping for. The dynamic between Chaplin's character and his friend, who only remembers him when drunk, adds an interesting layer to the story. This comedic twist highlights the complexities of the relationship and adds a humorous touch to the narrative. Chaplin's confusion over the friend's behavior adds to the film's charm and showcases his ability to find humor in everyday situations. In City of Lights, Chaplin's character is portrayed with good intentions throughout the film. Unlike his more annoyed portrayal of modern times, the tramp's genuine kindness and sincerity make him a more relatable and sympathetic character. This step adds to the film's emotional impact and makes the tramp's journey more engaging. In conclusion, City Lights is a commendable film that highlights Charlie Chaplin's talent and charm. It is my favorite of the two Chaplin films I've seen so far. The film's length is well suited to its narrative, and Chaplin's performance is a testament to his skill as both a comedian within an actor. Despite the film's simplicity and lack of dialogue, it effectively combines humor with heartfelt moments. While City Lights may not be universally appealing, particularly to younger generations who aren't familiar with silent films, it remains a classic example of Chaplin's work and rightfully earns a 7 out of 10 on the Diamond Dave scale. And with that being said, my film freaks and cinephiles, as always, if you've enjoyed these episodes up until now, do us a favor by subscribing on YouTube, following us on the audio platforms, clicking that thumbs up or like button so you can tell us you enjoy these episodes, turning on post notifications so you can stay up to date on those platforms when episodes release, as well as clicking at share out so you can continue to grow the podcast with all your friends and family. Also, if you want other ways of staying up to date with the show, do us a favor by following us on Instagram at Critiquing with Carr. And with that, my film freaks and cinephiles, happy viewing.